How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, a show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I'm the other fella, Tim Wagner.
Tim, we're going to finally get to a topic today on the podcast, the fishing topic. We've been beating around this fish ball long enough. We're going to talk about bullheads, finally.
Ooh.
We've made so many references to bullheads. We're finally going to get to it. And we're going to get real sentimental and philosophical and deep. And I'm overselling it, dude. There's this thing on the radio. I heard 40 before 40 or 40 after 40 or something. I don't know. I looked up some lists. It's a huge thing on the internet right now. We're going to talk about it because we're damn near 40 years old. So get ready. Get something good in your system.
real quick before, because since you're teasing that.
Yeah.
40 what? 40 what before 40?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Perfect. You got it, Tim. You nailed it.
All right. There we go.
All right, let's jump right into it. Get to the fishing news here. Indiana Burbot record broken 2 times in one afternoon.
Phew.
Yeah, dude.
They got on a good spot, bro. The same guy?
Yeah.
Damn, dude. Yeah, that's crazy. Like,
yeah.
He's just the only dude that's really like seeking out the burbot. Everybody else was just by accident.
Oh, no, it was totally by accident still.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. So check this out. Okay, this is from Field.
That's mind-blowing.
What's that?
That's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
To break it twice on accident, I for sure thought because it's a sport fish now, you got a guy going after him, and that's how it happened.
Yeah. Okay.
But he did it on accident.
So in Indiana, there's still not a sport fish.
Okay.
So
well, sure.
There you go. But I know what you mean.
They're sought after as one, and
they're getting
people know how to fish for them now. Like there was no literature prior to this.
Yeah,
really.
like you almost want to say like the last 5 years is when people have finally started putting shit on wax when it comes to burbot, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like you see like articles now that are in like in Fisherman or whatever, the magazines.
Yep.
Instead of like what they were once upon a time where they're just like the article was just like, the fuck is this thing? Like that's why it's in there. It's just this one clip of just a picture of a fish just so people could like turn to it and just be like, what is
this thing? Yeah, like a freak show, then, like the freak show thing.
Yeah,
like, oh, come just see the crazy burbot.
Yeah, exactly. And a conversation starter of everybody talking about, like, yeah, dude, my uncle caught one of those crazy.
Right.
It was delicious. And then just like everybody's like, shut up, bro. You ate it?
Right.
No, you did not.
Right.
You don't eat weird fish you've never seen before. Look at it. Yeah, what is it?
No, my uncle did it in 97. I'm telling you.
No, that's crazy. But now you can just like it's a big time deal, and people eat them, and they're good. Yeah. They're fun to catch, and yeah, that's gnarly though.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
No. That was all perfect because first quick, this came from Field and Stream. I'll put the link in the YouTube video, so I know if you're listening to this on podcast services like Spotify and Amazon and stuff like that, you got to go over to YouTube, find the link there because I just don't put it in those. It doesn't work well. In fact, I got to clean those up. Anyways, so Scott Scafar over there in Indiana, he was officially fishing with an Indiana license and all from Indiana and all that fun stuff, but he's out on Lake Michigan. So they go out and they're just going for perch. He's got him and his buddy Tom, I think it was. I don't think I wrote down the other guy's name. I didn't. But yeah, so Scott and his buddy, they're out fishing and they're going for perch. Bam. Catch their limit. So they're good to go. They still got time in the day. They're like, what are we going to do? I don't know. We should switch to lake trout. How about? Okay, cool. So they got their lake trout 5-inch white fluke on. I've been seeing more and more about this. It's like this white fluke is the big deal. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's like a hollow.
Like
it's like a hollow body. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, like a fluke.
Yeah.
From okay, so yeah, a fluke is like a jerk bait.
Yeah.
Like a soft plastic jerk bait. Is that what they were using
Yeah.
under the
I mean,
ice?
for lack of a better word, this thing is like it's like a modified squid to me. It looks like a squid. It's just like a hollow tube. It's got a bunch of frillies on the
Yeah.
bottom of it. And it's so, but it's like all in all, it's like 5-inch just white tube. It looks like fucking calamari, dude. It looks like a squid. It's just like a white squid almost looking thing, and it's just got frillies on one half and a hollow tube on the
Weird.
other. And this is
I've
the
not
shit,
seen anybody
dude.
use any like soft plastics like that under the water, but I guess when you're trying for lake trout, I guess I've never targeted a fish that big.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something I'm just not familiar with at all.
Yeah.
Relatively new to ice fishing.
Right.
Never even like I don't even know what lake to go to. I mean,
Right.
obviously, except for like the Great Lakes. There.
Right. Yeah. Which, so yeah, this guy out on the Great Lakes, he's tying on his 5-inch white fluke, which the things that have been coming into my feed are like, that's what you use to get lake trout. I'm like, okay, sure. I don't know. I'm learning too. So he's out there and we gets one. And in the article, they basically say like, yeah, he was pretty certain is, going for lake trout, thinks he's got lake trout, pulls one in, doesn't think anything of it really, kind of tosses it aside, whatever. Casts in again, super quickly pulls out another one and goes, okay, these things are giants. These are just big fish. I have to look up the record. So he looks up the record, dude, and he sees 7.1 pounds set in 1990. He's like, yeah, I got that beat, dude. Weighs them both. They're both way 13. Over that.
I feel for some reason I feel like the number's 13. Is it 13?
No, not that big.
Oh,
not that big. So they're 7.1. Like 7.1 was the record, right, in 1990.
Yeah.
So he pulls out the scale in the boat, weighs them. He goes, yeah, dude, I just broke the record twice. They when they go in, brings them over to the old Stack and Van Till grocery store. Stack and Van Till.
Yeah.
Grocery store. Over in Valparaiso. You know the one I'm talking about.
No, I get
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, well, Valpar. Yeah.
Stack and Van Till, the grocery store over there in Van Park.
Where your Burbot. Well, you said that weird.
Yeah, it was so funny that I just had to bring up that name because I was like, they just brought it up all casual, and I'm like, nobody knows where fucking Valparaiso, Illinois is, and definitely don't know the Strachan Van Til grocery store. It's like,
now, did you say the boat though?
So he weighs them in the boat because he pulled out one.
So they're in open water.
Oh yeah, Lake Michigan's open right now.
That's what
they're having a mellow. Well, first of all, it's super mellow out on the lakes because like Erie's had some weird shit going on, but like for the most part, you can get out onto it.
Oh,
I don't know about
that
Superior.
Makes a lot
right
more
now,
sense that they're fishing like a super fluke. That or like a fluke. You said super fluke is like same shit bigger, but that makes more sense.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I was picturing like ice fishing, and I was like, I've never heard of anybody using a fluke through the ice.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I didn't put those together because also Burbot through the ice right now is popping in all my feeds, and so I wasn't connecting what you were saying because I was in my own head. Okay. Back
now.
Yeah. So back to it. So yeah, they said he pulled out the scale on the boat. So and I saw the photo. They were in open water. Okay. So we're back in it here. Yep. So they go to the grocery store, throw them on the scale to get like an official, like those scales have to be officially weighed. There's regulations that make sure those things are legitimate, right? So they're not ripping people off. Right. So they get like they're regulated. So they throw one on the scale, 9.8 pounds.
It's a big fish.
It's a big fish. And the second one he throws on 10.2. That's what the photos say.
Nice. So the first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the first one was officially like not even like in the same afternoon. It was just like, oh my gosh, congratulations, you broke the state record. And then just like, You did it again.
Yeah, dude. Exactly.
That's crazy.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
So he does this all on New Year's Eve. So the DNR is closed. He can't even get him officially weighed. Like that was his like, okay, here it is. Let's document it. Takes him home, throws one in the freezer, eats the other one. He's got 2 state records on his hand, and he's like, I'm just going to eat that 9-pounder.
Nice.
And freezes the other one so that they can weigh it later.
Just like, yeah, the first new state record was delicious, and the second state record is in the freezer. That's nuts.
Isn't that awesome?
That's so cool,
dude. They even asked him, because we've talked about Burbot a little bit before. We haven't done a full episode on him, but we've talked about him a little bit, and we've talked about like eating them and stuff like that, and how they're becoming a thing and whatever. So we've done a little bit of that. Remember when we talked about him? We were like, oh, people eat them like lobster. People call them lobster. Like they're totally shit on
lobster.
Yeah. That's what he said. He's like, just fried them up a little bit and ate them with some butter. Like had
right, nice.
Yeah, I was like, damn, dude,
just fried them up, ate them with some butter. Hell yeah.
So sick.
He knows. Even the big ones, he's just like, yeah, they're still delicious. I mean, he probably never caught one that big before,
right?
Weighed it, but like that for that reason is why I thought that we could break the state record on the dogfish.
Yeah.
Because they're just not sought after fish.
Right.
And sometimes people are just like, you really think you could?
Right.
I think people probably have and just never thought about it.
Right.
I bet you that state record's been broken multiple times before and nobody's ever thought about it. Dude. And then this guy just goes, these fish are really big. And then he looks up and he shattered the old record.
Right. Just like exactly. Just like Scott here. He just goes, these seem pretty large.
Yeah, when you can break the state record twice in the same afternoon on simultaneous fish.
Right.
Like state record broken by the new state record, bam, bam.
Right.
And you're shattering the old record.
Yeah.
Is nuts. Like that's one thing where if you can't get it weighed in time, sometimes they lose a little bit of weight. He didn't have to worry. He was 3 pounds over.
Right. Like this fish isn't going to lose its fucking tail on the way to the DNR.
Yeah. It's not even close. This fish has definitely beat it.
Right.
And that's the crazy thing too. Like when they did the official weight, there's probably they probably did lose a little bit.
Right. Yeah. So it's going to go down like at the store on the scale, it was 10.2. And he's going to go and weigh in. It's going to be, 9.8, just like the first one that he weighed out. And it's going to go down as 9.8 anyway.
Right. Yeah. No big whoop.
Right. He said in the article too, like when Field and Stream, like to Field and Stream, basically they quoted him as saying like, it should be broken shortly, because if I did that, then there's no reason that can't just happen again soon.
Oh yeah. Yeah. If you go 1-2,
right.
I'm sure that there's like, that might even just be like the above average fish, but not that out of the ordinary.
Right.
There could easily be like an 11-pounder just waiting out there.
Or there could have been an 11-pounder down there even, right? Like,
yeah.
He could have just missed the 11-pounder. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's crazy to think about.
Just got those two, already had your limit of perch.
Right.
Probably was on the 11-pounder, had another state record down there to break.
Right.
And was just like, listen, I limited out on perch. I broke the state record, and then I broke it again.
Right.
I'm going home to eat this first one with butter.
Yeah, dude. Exactly. Okay. All right. We've spent enough time on that. Housekeeping. Right. I always kind of forget. Okay. Again, I said it in the last episode. I'm going to say it again. Thanks to all you who are sharing it on YouTube. Keep doing that. Keep sharing with people. Keep telling people it's working real good. We are, because they have the tags now. We are at Real AF. Remember Real like Fish and Real? We are at Real AF TV on YouTube now. So use that. Hit us up. Do the thing that the social medias do. Brought to you by patreon.com/realaftv. We'll get to that in the break between the topics. Remember, we are an every other week podcast. That's right. Every other Monday, we come out with a full podcast, roughly about 2 hours lately. We'll probably keep that up. Me and Tim like to talk. And then in our off week, we have Wednesday is the fishing topic. Friday is our random take. You get all the stuff cut out here from that, as in the fishing news. You get all that fun intro stuff cut out. So, hey, if you like the full version, if you're listening on podcast services and you're not getting those splits, right? Then awesome. Thanks for hanging in there for the full version. We appreciate that. But you getting bored with 2 hours at a time? We got a solution for you. Go to realaf.tv/contact. That's the easiest way to get in touch with us about the podcast. We love your feedbacks. We love when you're just chatting about us. Tim said it 100 times. You talk to us, we talk back. I love talking.
Yeah. No, I don't talk back. You tell me I talk back. No.
I don't talk back. I'm not a talk backer. I mean, you talk to us, we talk to you.
You talk.
There's a conversation
Yeah,
happening.
you talk backer. You talk back. I don't talk back. You talk back.
Share with a friend. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. I figured out we are on Audible now. Audible is part of Amazon. We're already on Amazon. We are on Audible then. So nice. Audible's getting into the podcast game. That is an app on your phone. So if you got somebody who is not really getting into podcasts, but they're on the audio books, you say, hey, you know that has a podcast feed on it, right? Bam, Real AF TV's on there. Hit them up.
Yeah.
Like,
and Amazon, if you heard that just now, I gave the This Is Audible thing. Sounds like you're This Is Audible guy. I know it's recorded, so you probably have it forever, but he sounds like he's getting old. If he is on the way out and you need somebody else to go, This Is Audible.
There's your audition tape. There you go. This is submission. Official Amazon.
Bring me in.
Bring me in. Tim Wagner. Hit me up. You know where to find me, realaf.tv/contact.
Yeah, Bezos.
Okay, Tim, let's do it. Let's get into the fishing topic where we're going to finally dive into bullheads. Bullheads it's been a topic we've been dancing around. Like we've dropped so many times in here, and I was like, fine, fuck it. We're doing it. Not really a thing this time of year because it's this time of year. Targeted through the ice. Yeah. But I think they're one of those fish that you just can't get away from. And that's what we've always sort of said, right? They're just not one of those fish you can get away from.
No, if they're in that lake, you're probably catching them.
But that we'll get into later because you said they're in your home lake and you haven't really caught that many. We're going to get into that, but I want to say this right off the bat because this is something that we always say, Tim. We always bring this up when we're talking about bullheads, and I finally have the answer. They're catfish.
Yeah. They is catfish.
They're a kind of catfish. Now we'll get into it, and hey, there's probably going to be a lot of episodes. There's going to be some overlap with episode 51 where we did catfish, that was the fishing topic was catfish. They're going to be overlap, but that's how the Real AF TV podcast is going to work. Is broad, narrow down, things like that. We're all about learning here.
Exactly. Yep, we just touched on that on the other one. It was a little bit just like. Bullheads are catfish. Catfish are bullheads. Not all catfish. That's wrong. I said that backwards. But yes. I am definitely interested on hearing more because I am super invested in catfish.
Yes.
Maybe the information you have can teach me something about the catfish that are on my lake that are so mysterious that I only see when they're dead.
Right.
Or one time getting chased by sunfish. That was a different weird story.
Right. Which is also part of why I finally just dove into it. I mean, it's been on the list for a while, but like we're not going to you're not going to go fish. You're not going to go ice fish that lake anytime soon. But I thought to myself, no, it's not a bad time to do it anyway, because how do I want to put that? It's not a bad time to do it anyway because they're catfish, and there's sort of a technique that you always kind of use the catfish, right? They're bottom feeders and whatever.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let me do a little bit of the housekeeping part of the research. So, a lot of Minnesota DNR because we live in Minnesota. So I got a lot of info there, but it was just a lot of solid info. But I made sure to kind of poke around the internet. So there's various other sources, but also a good source was from the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Management. So, North Carolina's DNR is another place that I hit up pretty big on this one. So here's why I chose those two to focus in on, Tim. Minnesota DNR never calls them catfish.
Yep. Okay.
North Carolina called them bullhead catfish.
Bullhead catfish.
Yeah. So there you go. That was kind of like the full on, like I saw the words bullhead catfish, 2 words, because bullhead's 1 word.
Yeah. So
the science name is Amarus nebulus, which is...
Oh, dude, that's dope.
Isn't that fucking cool?
That's a cool name for like the lamest fish.
I know, dude. And we're going to get into why they're lame fish too in a minute.
Yeah. That sounds like something like I want to yell when I throw a Pokeball. Yeah. And then you just, and then it just flop it like a Magikarp. And then the person you're going up against never heard of it before. They're just like, that's Amarus nebulus? I thought we were getting like a legendary here. Like I thought that was going to be really something. It's just a
Magikarp.
That thing's dumber than a Magikarp. Just way smaller. Looks like it stinks.
Why does it look like it smells bad? I don't know.
Fish looks like it smells like pee.
But not like fresh hydrated pee, like the pee that sits in the toilet overnight accidentally and you forgot to flush it, like that kind of pee.
I bet like that fish smells like if you put a tuna can in the sun for a while. That's what that fish smells like. The inside of that Pokeball is gross. Oh man.
Having said all that, I still want to have bullhead. Like I still want to eat bullhead. I still never have eaten bullhead.
Yeah, it's like the outside sucks, but like the meat inside, this got to be good, right? You would think.
Yeah, I mean, like people do it for sure.
Because like the bottom feeders always weird me out, but then it's like liver is good, and that's literally just to filter out the trash.
Right.
So if the filter tastes okay, then the meat of the fish that's just a bottom feeder should be fine.
Right.
As long as you're not eating it out of like a toxic river.
Right.
You got to watch out for mercury content in some of those rivers, but for the most part, yeah.
Okay. The family, and I'm going to fuck this up because these are dead language, and I always do. So it's the Latin name, right? So the family is Ictaluride. Yeah, Ictaluride. That's probably what it is. Ictaluride family. And the reason why I bring that up, because that's the same family as the old big blue catfish.
The big old blue catfish.
Yep, and that's why, how when I open this topic, it's like, yeah, they're a catfish. They're in the same one as a big old blue catfish. Even though they're small, which we'll get into too.
So this is a random thought, but you know that song that like, come on, I lean to the...
Oh yeah.
Like is half of that song Latin?
Yeah, it must be.
Come on, I like to lose.
I think it is.
I don't know. I've never been able to understand any words.
Right.
And now it makes sense. It all fits.
Right. It's Latin. Of course I don't know what they're saying.
Okay. It all makes sense now.
So there's 3 main species of bullheads. I saw up to 7 looking through my research that there's up to 7 kinds of bullhead, and I was like, that's interesting. Because then go deeper into research, and basically only 3 come up: black, brown, and yellow. Like, okay. And the funny thing, dude, is every single source I found that was like, there's black, blue, and yellow, and it's super hard to tell the difference. Okay. Biologists, you do your thing. I'm glad that you can tell the difference, because fuck it. I'm just gonna go, yeah, I'll never fucking know the difference.
Gotta like hold it up to the sun or something.
At 12:01 p.m. between the months of May and September, if you hold it at a 12-degree angle to the sun, parallel at the 93rd fucking, like, then you'll see the difference. You're like, okay, sure. But they have to be different color, right? Because like a catfish, like when you pull out a channel cat or something like that, it's brown. So you got to think that this tiny, like a bullhead, must be like more brown in color. That's where now I want to get into a little bit of the experience in your lake. Is what color have you seen there? Because
I would say it's yellow.
No shit.
Just because of the stomach, like from what I can see of it, the side of it is like really yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But like when it transitions from the white stomach, to like the darker back color,
is there a gradient? Like, does it look like a fucking yellow fish on it?
Well, it's like dark brown on the top, and then it like goes to like white, and in between there is like shades of yellow to brown.
Right.
So I guess I don't know.
I think you're pointing out exactly why these sources, these scientific sources were just like, yeah, man, it's super hard to know.
Yeah. Is it just like one of those, it's just like you have to put it, like take a picture of it and bring it into Photoshop, and then like it'll break down like the colors for you.
And then you can see like on whatever the yellow has channel, more. You're like, oh, it's really hot on the yellow channel.
It's hot on the yellow. This is the yellow.
Well, so here's the thing: is the lake, your home lake, is like really clear. So this is because I assumed that just the further north you went, the darker they would get in color, and I made that on a simple assumption that when you go east, they tend to be more of the yellow, and then as you go west, they tend to be more brown. And then up here, they do tend to be more of the black catfish. So I just made the assumption that as you go further north, they just get darker. But now I'm kind of going like, wait, is that I wonder if that's water, because the water's around the metro, like the northwestern metro, where I've done most of my fishing in my life and caught bullheads before.
Yeah.
They're black, dude, like fucking dark black every single time. The bait ball that they live in, which we'll get in when we read production, right? Black.
Yes.
So is that what you're seeing in your lake too?
There's not even like a white stomach. It's the whole thing is.
It's just a black ball of little tiny fish, right?
And there's so many. It's just a black cloud. Like when you see it, it's so black that most of the time it doesn't even register that it is fish right away.
No shit.
But like I know what I'm looking for now, and when I see it, and I see like when I'm with like my son and my nephew, I just like, those are catfish. Like I'll see it from a distance. It's just like a cloud, a black cloud moving.
Oh my god, dude!
And you just know
that's so fucking crazy
because you've seen it enough. Like those are catfish. Right. Run up to them. Look, those are all baby catfish. And they're like, what? I'm like, yes, that black. That's catfish. Like this is clear water. The only thing that makes that black cloud is fish.
Right.
You go run up on it and they're like, yeah, it definitely is just a bunch of black little fish.
Yeah. Fucking crazy.
So now that you say that too, like I'm thinking like maybe the back of that catfish up north wasn't even brown. Maybe it was black. Mm-hmm. I don't know for sure. But one thing I know about some fish as well is the water clarity can dictate how dark the colors are.
Yeah.
Now, what would change, like which color? Maybe if you had really dingy water, then it's easier to tell, like where the color's not as saturated. Yeah. Because like a walleye that you catch on a really dark, dingy like lake
Yeah.
where there's no light penetration,
Right.
those fish are like way clearer.
Whoa, they're
And
not
then
darker.
it's like a lot lighter skin
Really?
because the light's not penetrating
Shit.
to them as well.
Shit.
So
I
like
was
clear
assuming this
water
opposite.
makes them darker. No, I think it's like the difference between somebody in Africa.
It's the sun.
and
It's the
somebody
amount of sun. It's like they must have something, because I was
yeah,
making
you're just
a
getting the
camouflage connection. Do you know what I'm saying? Is like the darker water. So then this being a fish that has predators, the darker
Yeah.
color would make it more camouflaged and less likely to get eaten by a predator, you would think. And so
Yeah.
that like the darker the water, the darker the fish. And you're saying the opposite.
The opposite. Yes, the darker the water, the lighter the fish, because the light isn't
Interesting.
penetrating to them,
Yeah.
giving them that darker skin. It's like
Yeah.
it's like almost a suntan, man.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
like
what I was getting, like the northwestern like areas that I fish, they're not super clear. Like your home lake that you fish is the absolute clearest lake I've ever been on in my life. And
Oh, yeah.
I thought that's why I made the connection, right? Because you said it was sort of yellow, and well, again, just making the general connection of biology, life, and camouflage out in the wild.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. Now you got my head all spinning. But
Yeah,
so I
dude, that's
wonder
what
if
was crazy to
they
me.
really are black, and it's just you're seeing that white underbelly, because by the way, they all have white underbellies. There's even a white bullhead
Yeah.
that in some of this that I read that like,
Oh, for
yeah,
real?
there's some that
But we
categorize
don't
a
have those
white
around
bullhead.
here.
It wasn't very prevalent. Like I just saw one place that was like, oh, white bullhead's a thing.
Yeah. Makes sense. I mean, there's like white sucker and stuff. Like since we talked about it on that episode 51 with all the catfish, it's like I can totally see. I mean, if you didn't hear that first episode, there's fucking electric catfish. So I could totally see how there'd be white ones.
Right. Oh, and that's the other thing. Thank you for bringing up the because we don't have electric catfish. Like North America does not have electric catfish.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But North America only has bullheads. That's just where they live. The like I already said, we're getting a little bit of the habitat thing, right?
Oh, like we're the only people that have bullheads? Like bullheads don't exist, you're saying?
Yeah, like
countries?
The bullhead itself, like the bullhead breed of catfish, we'll say, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Like it's a North America thing.
Huh. That's weird.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised by that too.
Yeah. I guess I don't know, like it makes sense. Like they're definitely from here. It's just the catfish have always like given off such an Asian vibe to me.
Yeah, because
that like they almost don't even seem like they're like any of them are native.
Right.
But I suppose the bullhead doesn't have that same tail. It's got like a more normal looking tail.
Yep, you're jumping ahead, and I will get right into it. Is the okay? They have I have an image in the doc if you want to try to describe it, but I'll just put it down right now. Is the tail of the bullhead? It's round. That's what it's called. It's called it that has a round tail, where like a normal, a typical catfish has that fork tail, and that's exactly what you're saying. It's like a bullhead has a full tail, where a channel cat has that like V kind of chipped into the back of its tail. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Almost like its tail has two fins.
Yeah, like a bullhead has like the tail of like a bass.
Oh.
And a channel cat must be shaped more like a muskie.
Or a shark.
Or a shark, yes. Where it's a little bit more pointed.
It just has those two tips on it, where like a bullhead has a tail of a full paddle. And that's why when I was looking through all of this, it was just like, that is your dead set easy no. If you have regulations in your area that are different, you know you're going to know the difference between a small catfish and a small bullhead because you just look at its tail and you just go like, as a bullhead unregulated, it's cool. We can do whatever we want. And, oh, that's a channel cat and we have to do this, that, and this to it because of that tail. Just look at the tail. It's either going to be like that full round, like you just said, like a bass tail.
Yeah.
Or it's going to have them forks on it. And that's like a catfish. That's some kind of catfish. Yeah. Even though I said bullhead or catfish, you understand where I'm coming from, right?
Oh yeah. It's the same but different.
Right. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, perfect thing to bring up is like that. That's exactly it. Talking about electric, dude.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before too. Everyone's afraid, like, oh, got a bullhead, damn it, just slam it on the side of the boat, get the hook out its mouth. You know, everybody's freaking out.
Dude, when I was younger, I was terrified of him. Everybody was just like, you are just gonna like, you can't stab him. And like now, obviously, you get older and it's like you understand the conservation and you know that you shouldn't do this stuff. Like, but when you're younger, you don't think about it. You just hear everybody and they're just like, they're shit fish or whatever.
They're shit fish. They sting you. It sucks. It hurts. Where
we grew up, there was this walk across bridge and it had these gigantic like concrete pillars. And because they were just like, oh, there's spines and like, don't like, even my parents, like, I don't think they even caught one. Right. I don't think they ever even lifted up.
They never like, interacted in real life with a bullhead, right?
And they're like, don't touch it. It can sting you. And like, nobody ever explained to me that it's just some barbs. Like you can get away with like holding it and stuff. You just have to place your hands properly. So I'm terrified to touch these things.
Because all they do is tell you. Yeah, that's exactly growing up in this area. And please tell us in the comments your story. I want to hear your experience because me and Tim have the exact same one at 2 different lifetimes of, this thing stings you.
Yeah, it stings you and it's dangerous. You can't touch it. And I didn't have a players and I'm like, I don't know what to even do with this thing. So I just like swung it from the fishing rod, like into that concrete pillar. And it doesn't work like you think it would work. It doesn't go flying off. So then you end up just like spending the rest of the afternoon slapping this thing on this concrete.
God, that's horrible, dude. Right. Here you are, 12-year-old kid that has had nothing but like horrible shit told to you and you're like, I don't know what to do. And so you start whacking it against the concrete.
Yeah. And then you get older and like you forget about it until like, later somebody says something and then you just go, oh my God, I was remember that time I was smashing that thing against that concrete pillar for like an hour. Right. You're just like, I guess I would feel like a terrible person if it wasn't a shitty bullhead because it's like definitely I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
But also I didn't know what I was doing.
Right. So. And it's kind of a, no, for sure. It's just, you were doing what you were kind of taught, but dude. Yeah.
And also just to comfort anybody, it was for sure dead on swing 1. Like, that was the end. It just doesn't come off the hook easy.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it was out.
I should have brought up players. I should have been prepared, but I wasn't, and I was young, and I was dumb, and I just kept going till that thing flew off the hook.
Like, but yeah, it was no doubt dead on the first. There's no. So dude, here, like you said, it's just spines. It's not a big deal. I mean, sure, it'll suck because, dude, it definitely has sharp spines. They're in the dorsal and the pectoral fins. As long as you know where the dorsal and pectoral fins are,
the sides and the top.
Yeah, say that again.
The sides and the top.
Yeah. Okay, so there you are. This is what we're here for. Don't go slamming them against concrete pillars because the spines are in the sides and the top. It's not the barbels on the front, which they have just like catfish, the whiskers.
Right. That's another thing that I thought stung you.
Dude, me like,
that's
too.
Another
I totally
rumor that I heard when I was little.
Mm-hmm. That it was the whiskers that had the stingers or that they were the stingers, right?
Yeah. I want to say somebody even told me one time that they're just like jellyfish. And it's like, well, that was just a bunch of bullshit.
Oh my God. Yes. Dorsal and pectoral fins. Yes. They have spines in them.
Yeah.
Yes. They will sting you.
Yeah.
Yes, because they're sharp.
Right. Yes, exactly. By stinging, it's like poking. They will poke you.
Right,
They have
because
spines. So it's
keep going, Tim.
yeah, it's like it's just like a sharp barb. So you can basically just get like poked,
Right.
and then they don't come out because I don't know if they're like barbed where they
they call them. They did call them spines. So I don't think they're barbed, but they'll poke you.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. I saw one where like there was a girl along the river one time on a video I saw.
Yeah.
And somebody had like caught like a catfish, and then they were just kind of trying to be funny, and then like swang it at the girl's butt, and the girl kind of like bent over to just be like, oh, like slap my butt with a fish. And then she just like screams, ow. And then like the fish was just like stuck, like the pectoral fin, like just stabbed her in the butt cheek, and it was just like stuck to her.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah. And like I would expect it to just stab and then come out,
right?
But it was just kind of like
it stuck
in her, and it was just like, okay. Yeah.
I didn't find if they were barbed or not, but either way, it's not anything to mess around. And dude, you know what?
Yeah, that was a little bit bigger one too. That wasn't a bullhead. I don't believe that was like a small catfish.
Okay, yeah. But, well, and also on bullheads specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember if we talked about it. From episode 51. I can't remember if we talked about it with catfish or not. But dude, they're a little poisonous. They do have a little something on them.
Okay.
So
the sting wasn't 100% false. So there is stinging.
Yeah. So it'll suck.
So it's not just So it's not going to be cool. Yeah. But you don't have to worry about the whiskers.
Right. It's not the whiskers. There's 3 of them on there. 2 pectoral fins and 1 dorsal fin. I mean, you know right where they are.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of catfish have it on the dorsal fin, so I think that's what makes them stand out, and I think that's what makes people so scared of them. Because a lot of times you can like put your hand so you're not hitting the pectorals like between here, but you don't have to worry about the dorsal fin getting you in the palm there.
Well, and also explain to the people who are maybe not as avid fishermen or maybe don't do things like we do up here because they don't catch the same panfish we do or whatever. What is the typical way of taking a hook out of a small fish, a panfish, you know? Like,
oh yeah, you just grab the fish. Yeah. You just hold
and
it.
You just pull down. You just
like a whatever the sunfish is or whatever it happens to be, you just kind of like put your fingers towards the front of the face and then just kind of like slide it backwards, because all the spines that are on all the other fish like flare up.
Yep.
And all you have to do is just kind of like fold them down, and then you can hold whatever it is. And then you just pop the hook out. But with a catfish or a bullhead, you have to mainly the catfish, you have to get your hands like on either side of those pectoral fins, because those will poke you. So you obviously just can't grab the fish.
And you can't just try to fold down that pectoral fin or that dorsal fin and hope for the best, because there's a fucking spine in it.
Yeah, those don't fold down. The spines, like on any of the other fish, the dorsal fin is like a series of spines that actually comes up into a fin.
Yeah.
And that can be folded down. The barbs, the spines on the fins of these catfish and the bullheads don't move.
Yeah.
You can't just fold them down and hold them down. Like, you just kind of have to put your
They kind of don't work in
the
the same. And even how many times has a crappie even stuck you a little bit just trying to get it off the hook, right?
Oh, I've been stuck multiple times.
So to get stuck by this.
And initially I get pissed off every time. And then immediately I think about how I put a hook in his face and I go, you son of a, and then I just go, we're even, fair enough. Every time it's like a moment of just like, you fucker. And then I remember, oh yes, we're on the same page here. You poked me, I poked you.
Right.
Fair.
So, so to go off of the spine thing a little bit, they have barbels again, but those are that's just a word for whiskers, and those whiskers aren't barbs. Okay. Those aren't stingers, right? Like what we were already talking about, like. That's catfish terms for whiskers. Those are barbels, not barbs. They don't hurt you, from everything that I saw. But
Yeah.
Also, handling any catfish in general, it's slippery. So that, again, right? The spines, and I don't want to just make this into a stinging episode, but like we were brought up on on like bullhead sting you so like we were brought up on that so much. It's just going to be this topic quite a bit.
Yeah, because that's one thing that's pretty unique to the whole species of catfish is that for the most part, I don't think, except for like the armored ones that we talked about, I don't think they have scales.
No,
they have like shark skin.
Yes, they don't. Yes, you're right. That's one of my notes. They do not have scales. These are not scales. These are skin fish, I guess.
Yeah. Slippery little weirdos.
Yep. Like that skin means their whole body's covered in taste buds. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude.
That's weird.
Isn't that weird? Like that's just one of the things. That's how they're able to live in like the murky, shitty water and be bottom feeders and stuff like that. They can just they just taste everything.
Just tasting everything. Remember that next time you catch one, guys, and you're like, I can hold it with my hand because I don't have to be scared of these barbs. I just have to hold it properly.
Yep.
But that dude's tasting it. So you're safe, but it's a little bit creepy.
But it's a little weird.
Just a little bit weird.
So
I did not know that. Is it the same with all catfish?
Yeah, it is. It is the same with all catfish.
Weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yep. So again, I probably said that in 51. It's just one of those things that hits you like brand new again when you say it. Right?
That sense of taste is just
everywhere.
God, fish are weird.
Fish are fucking totally weird, dude.
They have an extra sense already, most of them, because they have that lateral line. They can literally feel vibrations that we can't.
Right.
And now I know that they can taste with most of their body.
Right.
Yeah, that's so weird.
So to keep on the fin topic, while we're talking about how the dorsal and the pectoral fins got spines in them.
Yeah.
Another giveaway besides the tail, the bullhead, it has an adipose fin between their dorsal fin and their tail fin. So like in the middle of their back, right? Because right off the top is the dorsal fin, sort of like, Free Willy. You've seen Free Willy. That's a dorsal fin. Then the tail fin. Yeah, there's this tiny little fin in between that, and it's called an adipose fin. Apparently it feels like your earlobe, dude.
That's weird.
Yeah, man.
Wow. Just a fleshy nub.
Yes.
What weird fish.
It has no structure. It's just like they said it feels like an earlobe. Now makes you want to go fishing for them even more, just to touch that fin and be like, why is this? Is it really that different?
I'm just thinking like we could like make the weirdest like kids song ever.
What?
Out of just catfish. You just could. Just like I got spines on the side and one on the top.
Fin in the middle feels like an earlobe.
Yeah. Got a fleshy knob on my back. Gonna taste with my butt. They don't have butts, but like I can taste.
Right.
My whole body can taste. I got a flesh knob. Just the whole.
It definitely has the makings of the weirdest best kid song of all time.
I just like my kid is like into so many like kids songs right now, and I was just like, they're all weird already,
right?
And now all you would literally have to do is just drop facts about it.
Right. And it's weird.
Don't be scared of my barbels, they don't sting.
It's the wings on my hands that you got to worry about. That didn't. I had something there for a minute, and it fucked up at the end. But I had something. There was a gem in there somewhere. You carve it out. So size wise, okay. Remember how I said that these are the same that Ictalaridae. Go back.
yeah,
I
the
didn't say the
family,
same
yeah.
twice. They're the
Yep.
same family as the big blue catfish.
Yep.
But these things are usually less than a foot long. And that goes to, again, Tim, I wanted to ask you
yeah.
about what you're seeing at your lake. Like, no way, right? I've never seen a 12-inch. Never. I never caught one that big. They're so, generally speaking, again, they're less than a foot long. And
I bet
this
the one
may
that's
be,
the one that
the black catfish that's more common up here in the Mississippi area. We'll just say the Mississippi area because that's what I found. So,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, less than 12-inch. Yeah.
I bet the one that I saw getting chased off by that sunfish was about 14.
No shit.
Yeah, now that
Really?
I'm thinking about it, like in the water, it was a good fish.
Wow. Yeah.
Because I was like, that's a big, and it's the only one I've ever seen that's alive.
Besides the baby
reason,
fish,
it was
besides the bait balls, right?
Yes, I've seen some of the bait balls. I've seen the very little babies, and like that big one.
Yeah.
And then I've seen dead ones. So like I've literally never caught one on that lake. So I know that we said earlier that like if they're on that lake, you're catching them. But I mean, like if it's a population that's known, like this is one of those mystery fish that is on this lake because I've seen them and it's recorded, but they're not technically like, I wouldn't say like a lot of the Clearwater lakes are the ones. And I don't know if that's part of it, if they're just in super deep water in weird spots.
Right.
Unless
like, are they more difficult?
You know, like it's cloudy water, then they come up or like closer.
Yeah.
And that's just not this lake. It's very clear water. And it was just that one time it was like up in the shallows, and I don't know if it was like desperate for food or whatever, or if it was spawning as well.
Sure.
And I just happened to see like the one that was trying to spawn still or what, but it was getting chased off by that sunfish that was also spawning.
Yeah. Which could be, and you know a lot. We haven't done a full episode on, so we're not going to be able to make any kind of connection. But you know about those spawns because when we did the live stream, you kind of had indicated on when the crappies were spawning and stuff like that. You said that, and so I'm gonna just kind of bring in a bunch of stuff. First, I'm gonna kick off with habitat because everything you're saying, I'm just kind of like, why are they even in your lake? Because like, they're in waters and streams and lakes. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. They're super sturdy catfish. Catfish are super sturdy. They don't need a lot of oxygen. They don't need clear waters. Like, it doesn't have to be a good environment. They can fucking live in the shit if they really want to. Like, they like the muddy bottom. They like slow moving waters, murky, low oxygen, all the stuff. No big deal. And this is where I'm going, connecting it back to your lake, is they're bigger. Their populations are bigger in lakes where the winter kill's big because they just don't need that much oxygen. So they fucking survive it, dude. And so like
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, tell me what that means now for you and your lake.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't mean much on my lake except for the fact that there isn't a winter kill. Like it's fairly, I think the deepest spot is like 50 some feet. So like in a lake that deep, you really don't have to worry about the winter kills, especially, depending on the structure and stuff. Because what the winter kill is, I'm pretty sure that we talked about it before, but the winter kill is not actually fish freezing off. What happens is the water starts to get cold and the fish retreat to deeper water. And in a smaller body of water, everything from the summer, the weeds, whatever happens to die, all settles into the lowest part of the lake. And that starts to decay. And when it decays, it starts putting out all the CO2 or whatever it is.
Yep, CO2 and the other, the byproduct of decay.
Yep. Yeah. And it's taking in oxygen to do the decaying process. So it's literally like there's just not enough oxygen for most of the fish to like breathe down there. So they go to deep water and they suffocate. And then they die. So that's what happens with the winter kills and stuff. And I forgot where I was going.
No, that was really, I mean, no, that was it. Because you did say on your lake, it doesn't really apply because you don't think that your home lake really has that much winter kill on it. And it made me think, now that we're like literally listening to you, I'm going, oh yeah, I wonder if in the 90s there was a lot of, because there was some decent winters there, like the 91 winter Halloween
Oh yeah.
storm, right? Like, was that winter really rough? I remember playing outside a few years in the 90s and it was super cold. Like, we were playing on the ice that had on
Yeah.
top of the snow, and we were playing on top of the
Right.
ice. Like,
Right.
that was just on
Yeah.
top of the driveway and you couldn't do anything about it. It makes me go like, oh yeah, I wonder, was that why we were catching bullhead and like the uncles were so pissed
Yeah.
about it? Like,
Yeah, it could be that there was just like nothing else left.
yeah.
But like when you say that, where I said that makes a lot of sense, is like there's different ponds and stuff. Like,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I believe, I don't know if we've ever talked about Lake George on the podcast
A little
here,
bit, not much though.
but yeah, it's just like a man-made lake in the middle of town
Yeah.
here. And that one has like multiple species and stuff, but there's a random pond next to it where there's a couple of swans, and I don't think that one's deep at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that one has a ton of bullhead in there.
Oh,
And that totally makes sense why like there's still bullhead that survive in there.
right. Like they
Because
thrive
I
in
don't
that
think
because
any
it.
other fish would. Yeah, I think it would definitely do a winter kill in that small.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's crazy. That
That's
makes
nuts.
a ton of sense. And so
Yeah.
to go on, I'm jumping over a bunch of things, but we're gonna get back to, we'll end with reproduction and what they're eating and what the reproduction is, because I want to get into this part of the lake that we keep, your home lake that you fish. You've seen them in the bait balls.
Yeah.
So you know there's tons of
Yes.
babies. Like there's a decent amount of birth happening there.
Yep.
They don't get eaten that much because of those damn spines that we've been ranting on about.
Even the little ones?
But that's the thing. Anything in about the 4-inch range will get eaten. Yes.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I have the bait balls that I've seen on that lake have been like this big.
Oh, like a little bit bigger than a bat, like maybe 2 basketballs.
Yeah, probably like 2 basketballs.
Like 2
That's
official NBA
comparison.
size basketballs.
Yeah. Yep. But the clouds I've seen on certain lakes and in certain ponds have been like 6 foot.
Damn.
Like
a wingspan. Like your
stretch.
wingspan.
Yeah, like my wingspan.
Which is over 6 foot. But
so
yeah.
But I've seen some large clouds, and then my lake's been the smaller clouds. And I bet you, because of that smaller size and how vulnerable they are, there's a large population of bass. Yeah. I bet the bass are just snatching them up, and that's why I barely see any, because it's a very select few that actually survive to have like spawn and have that litter. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, actually, I don't know either. I really don't know. I know.
Sounds more. Right? Cats have litters. Catfish have litters.
Catfish must have litters too. Yeah, but no, that was my okay. So yeah, you're leading right into it, because you have a good bass lake for sure. I didn't see that bass eat them, but that's not to say they don't, because of course they're bass. They'll eat it. It really said. So I saw a lot of info that like where the flathead catfish are thriving, bullheads are not. Like flathead catfish are the enemy. Then of course walleyes, pike. I know you got a decent amount of pike in there. Here's the one.
Yeah.
Here's the 2 that I was most curious about, because I know you have a decent amount of pike. I know your walleyes are doing all right in that lake. Of course, you already said bass are doing great. Blue herring and otters.
Okay.
Those are the other 2 bigger predators. Do you have a lot of birds flying around there? Like, do you see a lot of blue herring? Do you think they could be doing a number?
There, I see, and there's actually quite a few blue herring. Yeah.
So, do you think between like, are you hearing what I'm like? There's probably no flatheads where you are, right? Like, because you don't have any streams feeding that lake or anything like that. So you don't think there's really any other catfish in there?
There's definitely nothing else. There's just a couple of bullheads that I see randomly. I've never seen any catfish. I've never seen anybody catch them. Those are something that we definitely catch trying to fish for other stuff. But that makes sense. Yeah. That like the herring, because there's babies. Mm-hmm. That baby herring, I've seen quite a few of those. So I could totally see how that's what they're eating. But yeah, there's blue herring all the time, always flying.
Yeah.
I don't know how many there are around the lake,
Right.
but like enough to where we see one on the dock quite often.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's so many docks that like I'm sure there's multiple docks with the herring all over the place, snacking on those little, just scooping them up.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And that's why I wanted to bring it up, is because I'm going, you see them, you see the bait balls, but you've never caught one. And they're bottom feeders, generally speaking, which you're not doing a ton of bottom fishing, but like you fish deep. You've talked about that multiple times. It made me think, I would just wonder if there's so many predators that there's actually not that many bullheads in the lake, and that you're just there enough to see it.
Yeah.
But really, there's not that many to catch. It makes me really curious. Do you think that's true? Do you think that could be true?
I mean, I think it's gotta be.
Yeah.
Because why? I've never heard of anybody else catching one on this lake.
Well, and also talking about like your predator population, right? Like going out to the blue herring, bringing in the blue herring as an option.
Yeah.
And then you got your walleyes and your bass, and you got to be thinking the pike and muskie are taking advantage.
Probably, yeah. I don't know for sure. That spine in the back, they might not even dick with them. They might have tried it once and
well, yeah,
and just been like, no, we're not doing this again.
Right, but how many make it over 4 inches before they get eaten? Right?
Yeah, I could totally. There's a large number of like smaller pike too. And I could see those idiots just being like, yeah, and then eating it and just be like, oh, this stupid spine. And then just like 2 seconds later,
just going for it anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Well, Tim, maybe you could catch one if you knew. But so here's also, how many people go out on your lake fishing at night? Like, is walleye fishing on that lake real big at all?
Yeah, there's a decent amount of people that fish at night.
I thought so.
Yeah,
because
it's clear water, so it's
right. But they're probably out deep, right? Like night
because of the bugs,
right? Fucking bugs up north.
Yeah,
the shittiest.
Yeah.
So these are bottom fishers. Typically, they're bottom eating catfish, right? So you'd have to be. Yeah. I'm guessing walleye fishing, you probably don't get a lot of bullhead bycatch. But like, I didn't know this. Bullheads are mainly nocturnal eaters. Like they go out at night and feed.
Oh,
you got to think probably because they don't want to get eaten by the fucking blue herring. But
right, that makes sense. But I wonder how deep they are.
I know, because they're bottom feeding. So you make
because I think
I get what you're saying there.
The walleyes like to move in a little bit shallower. So, like when you're talking like nighttime, they're the walleyes will move in shallow to feed.
Oh,
a lot of the times.
Okay.
So I wonder if everybody's just fishing like a little bit. It's like the top of the drop,
Yeah.
Like it's like an 8-foot flat and then it drops way off.
Okay.
Like they're fishing like right at the top of that drop.
Oh.
The walleye will come up and feed on there.
Right.
So I wonder if maybe the bullheads are at the bottom of it.
Right. Or even just a little bit more shallow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think there's probably like 4 to be caught.
Right. Yeah. Just what we talked about. Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they're feeding. So mussels, snails, bugs, smaller fish eggs, plants. They don't care. This is definitely something we covered in the catfish episode. They don't care really. They're not super picky. They just eat everything. But then I've seen crayfish on there too. And I was like, God damn, they're not even that big. And they're eating crayfish. And it made me think of like the creature baits and the crayfish and stuff like that. It was like, man, that's a weird thought. I guess you could catch a bullhead while fishing for bass. So you've never done it though. It just made me think like just that specific animal was like, oh shit, they eat crayfish, huh? Huh.
Yeah.
Got to think maybe they're just sucking them off the bottom on accident.
Sucking them off.
All right. Let's end on a sexy note. We're going to end on reproduction.
Reproduction.
But this is...
That's what comes after the foreplay. First, we get into sucking them off the bottom. Then we get into the reproduction.
But the transition there is like you always. So this is unregulated fish in Minnesota. At least there's no like you can catch them whenever we want. It varies a little bit, but generally 70-degree water is so late spring into the early summer is typically when these start to spawn. So that's the part that, okay, Tim, let's talk about what that means with the panfish, because you seen it chasing off you've seen a big one getting chased off by panfish. And yes. So like, are they spawning at the same time? Roughly 70-degree water, early, late spring, early summer. Does that seem right? Because I know when I see these bait balls, it's like it's swimming weather.
Yeah, that seems probably about right for the sunfish. Crappies are earlier than sunfish, but the sunfish is what I saw chasing it off.
Okay. So that kind of matches up then.
Yeah, that seems to make sense.
Could have been a dual spawn situation you did see then.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's the only time I've actually seen one, is then maybe I did actually see it trying to spawn.
Right.
And for whatever reason, both of those fish were just like, I want to call this my territory. And the sunfish is just like, no, the fuck you don't. And that bullhead is just like, chill, dude, chill. It was so weird. Like that bullhead looked like far larger. Like it shouldn't have anything to worry about with that sunfish, and it was totally getting chased off.
So weird. Those little panfish, man, they're fucking wild though. They're like they're aggressive. They're super wild.
Sunfish are pretty aggressive. Yeah, they charge at whatever falls in the water.
Right. That's exactly what I'm talking about, or like that's what I'm alluding to. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I count on their aggressiveness because I do feel bad about smashing up that bullhead. I have no remorse for every spider I flick into the water and just watch that thing just get annihilated by sunfish. Flick that thing in the water and just wait, and it doesn't take long most of the time. Just peck. It's just little pecks. It's not if you slowed it down, and zoomed in, I'm sure it's just
it probably looks gruesome because it's just these little literally getting torn apart.
Yeah. But in real time it's just like bloop.
Right. bloop, bloop. It's like two bloops and it's over.
That's what you get, spider. Crawl onto my boat.
You son bitch.
Not my boat,
but so
many.
Let me ask this. Did you see or have you seen a nest, do you think, like in that area? Because they make like these little round nests, and I know other fish do that too. It's not uncommon for like a fish to make a little round, like what? It's a fucking nest. It makes a little circle on the ground. Bullheads do that.
Yeah, a bed, they call it.
Thank you.
And I have not seen it, no. Yeah, they like fan a nice spot for them to lay their eggs. They'll like fan the debris away, so it's just like the sand or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sunfish like spawn right next to each other, shoulder to shoulder.
Oh,
so you'll just see all these divots in the sand.
Sweet.
And that one is just a weird one. That sunfish was by itself, and that bullhead was by itself, and they were just fighting over territory. It was a big sunfish, though.
Sure. Yeah, of course it was. To like, fight off a big ass bullhead, of course. But so this makes a lot of sense then, because what you're saying lines up sort of with exactly what I had experience with bullheads, because bullheads tend to spawn in groups, tend to make nests, tend to do it in cover, cover, take that word for what it is, but they tend to. Sounds like everything you're saying is like the exact same as Sunny's. So if you're going out pan fishing at this late spring, early summer for panfish, and you're targeting them knowing this and this and this, bullheads are totally going to be a bycatch. Like you can't get around it. Like it just it sounds like it's going to be possible.
Yeah, as long as you're on a lake that has a good population.
Yes,
obviously, like the one I'm talking about does not.
Right.
I've never seen it before. I've just saw that one, but I wonder. I don't think I'm normally like trolling the shallows looking at where sunfish spawn either.
You're not looking for it,
But
really, because the water's clear enough. You could do that if you wanted to.
I do bring my son. I do bring my son to like go and like fish for the spawning sunfish too, because that's exciting. Because it's like, you know, there's a lot of big ones you can catch right now. We don't like necessarily keep them, but we'll catch some like okay ones off the dock,
right?
And then I'm like, I know where we can put like some monster sunfish, like some fish where we can just go like near those weeds.
Yeah, dude.
Put on your fake bait. You can bait your own hook, even toss it in the water, and we'll pull in the tank.
Right. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So, yeah, and now I know for sure we have a chance at catching a bullhead.
Yeah,
maybe young Beckett will be the first to actually catch a bullhead on our lake.
That would be awesome, sweet. Dude.
Sets the record.
That would be so cool.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, that would be cool.
Dope.
Okay. So now we're going to get into the late night dirty work. These bullheads, they got their bed made. You got a male and a female. Male's coming in, does the old slap and tickle. No, seriously. The male does a slap and tickle. They literally slap the female in the face with their tail to get them to get their eggs to come out, and then they just swim around and jizz in the fucking egg pile.
What?
That's what it says. They're tickling their face with their tail, dude. The old slap and tickle.
The old slap and tickle.
Oh, I couldn't leave it out, dude. It's too funny. It says it happens several times a day for a few weeks. So this is the thing. This is the thing. But also trying to catch them. Yeah, you got time.
Yeah.
They're spawning. They're spawning for weeks. It's so good. So, so both the male and the female, they hang around for a little while after. But dude, when they hatch, like when the eggs start to hatch, the male helps them school up in that ball. Like the female swims off. Like once they've actually hatched and they become those little tiny black swimmers that we've been talking about, the male helps keep them in that ball because, like, you know, that's how they work. They're like, yeah, the ball's safety until they get about an inch long, and then the male will swim off and just let them be, and they stay in that ball. So it's like they hatch out, and the male bullhead, the adult male bullhead, teaches them to stay in that ball, and then they keep doing that until they get big enough that they feel that they can leave. Which if the male's leaving at when they reach about an inch and they get eaten at less than 4 inches, you have to think like, well, somewhere between 1 and 4 inches, they're still hanging around in that fish ball.
Yeah,
which is
dude. That's one of the weird things about the males in a lot of the species is that like they are in charge of like watching the young, and then at some point they'll just turn on them. They're like, you're on your own. Leave or your food. And then just
leave or your food. And the male will eat them.
Yeah, the bass for sure.
Bass do that. Oh, wow.
Will eat the young. Yeah, I don't know if the rest of the fish do. I would assume.
Yeah, I don't know. It just said that like the male hangs around and makes sure that they stay in those bait balls that we've been talking about. It says it just keeps them in that, and then
I totally just picture a lot of the fish, and I may be wrong, but I know it works with bass, but them being like Dory.
Mm-hmm.
And then just kind of like swimming around and just being like, oh yeah, here are my kids. Like, let me show you how things are going and like whatever. And then like they just like swim around a rock without looking at them for a little while and then turn a bit around and just be like, can I help you? What do you just eat them?
Eat 3/4 of them.
in one gulp.
Well, that's all I got really when it comes to Bullhead, but I do have one more question before we wrap up and we go into the random take, which is going to be about 40 before 40. Don't ask any more questions, okay? Just we'll get into what it means.
Right.
No more questions from the audience. There's no audience. Would you go fishing for Bullhead? You know of one pond right there in town.
Yeah.
Catching one on your lake would be cool because you've never seen them. But like, does any of this help you or make you want to go fishing for Bullhead? Because I do. I still want to go and just eat one. Like, I don't give a shit. Let's catch one. Sweet, we got one. Let's eat it. Done.
Yeah. No, I would definitely. Yeah, I want to. It'd be like, I don't know which lakes have them, but I would want to go on one where the fish are a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So you're like guaranteed. That pond I know that has them are like, you're talking all like, I don't know, 5 to 6 inches, maybe like 7 or 8.
I don't think there's going to be any meat on it, right?
No, that's what I'm talking about. Like, there might be meat, but I don't want to dick around with them.
Yeah. It's not enough to even, because again, like I said, catch one, right? Like, yes. I'd catch one and I'd be happy with it, but it would have to obviously be one that would be enough to get like 2 fillets off of, enough meat, enough to something to bite into and give it a little something.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it gotta have some meat.
Right. Yeah, those ones you're talking about, that just ain't edible, really.
No.
Yeah. Well, what about? Let me say this. You've already put it on your goals for 2023. Fishing early.
Yeah.
Fishing early for crappies.
Early.
But crappies spawn earlier. So you're going to be doing work there. Yes. You're obviously going to go out and look for some sunnies and stuff afterwards. Yep. Would you change the way you fish for sunnies in an effort to try to catch a bullhead, just to see, like, almost for scientific research reasons? That's such a stupid way to put it. But like you said with Beckett, try to pull one out of that lake. You know, like, would you change?
I don't think so. No, because if the bullheads are there, I've fished on lakes where like they just bite on the worm.
Yeah.
Like bobber fishing. Right.
Like, they're too easy to just be bycatch at, like,
yeah.
You're going out for sunnies during the sunny spawn. They're bycatch. So yeah.
And I think on this lake you could just easily catch them fishing for sunfish if the numbers were there.
Right.
And that's all it is. It's just not the numbers.
Yeah.
I think to catch one we just have to fish multiple spots.
Sure.
Just be on the move. Go everywhere where a sunfish might spawn, and it's like relatively the same spot.
Right. Find the one where the bullheads have been able to run out the sunnies or outgun the sunnies, or however you want to put that.
Maybe even fish like the same spots that the crappies spawn, just like well after the crappies are done spawning.
Mm-hmm.
The bullheads might. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's a couple of spots that I don't really go to in the summertime because it's kind of like a desolate wasteland. Like, there's nothing there, but it works for crappie spawning. So like it's kind of like the crappies are there in the spring, and then just like nothing is really there any other time of the year. Like maybe a couple small sunfish or whatever. But now that I think about that, it's like, well, why are the sunfish there? Is that the same reason that the bullheads would be there? Maybe you'll have to try that out and see.
And just see. Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good thought. Crazy thought, actually. Yeah. I love making those connections. Anyways. Okay. Let's do it, Tim. Let's jump in to the random take. But first, we got to take a break. And then we're going to get into 40 before 40, 40 after 40, 40 during 40s. I don't fucking know exactly what it is, but I heard a thing on the radio, and we're going to jump into it. So let's do it. Hit the break. Here we are, patreon.com/realaftv. That's right, patreon.com/realaftv. Real like fish and reel. We are on Patreon, and we are coming to tell you, and by we, I mean me and Tim, Real AF TV podcast here,
Yep.
coming to you to say we have a Patreon as low as $1 a month, but hey, you could go up to $100 if you really wanted to get crazy with it. It's there. Go over to our website, realaf.tv. You can find the Patreon link right there, or go to Patreon and look us up, Real AF TV, Real Like Fish and Reel. And we have things like, for $50 a month, we will customize. What kind of tackle is it, Tim? We have some in the warehouse right now that we haven't actually ran
a lure. Yes.
A lure. Thank you.
Is a crankbait.
Crankbait.
Yes, we will customize a crankbait for you.
At the $50 tier. Also, Patreon, if you're new to the whole Patreon thing, if you're on a podcast, you're probably not that new to it. But Patreon is something that you can jump in and out of. Like if you do $50 this month, bam, you get the custom lure, but you don't want to do that for the whole year. You jump down to the $5 a month tier where you're going to get early access content. You can help vote on the random take, one of the random takes for the month. And, we'll keep up with you on Patreon as well. Like just a direct Patreon contact. There's communication you do only through Patreon. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you're new, there's just a little intro to it.
Yeah. And to clarify that custom painted lure is a fully custom painted lure, like the pattern and everything. That won't be just something that we have a lure that we just like write Real AF TV out.
Yes. Thank you, Tim. Thank you for clearing that up, because yes, it's a slug, for lack of a better word, right now, and it will be turned into something.
Right.
I'm not good at the whole fishing lingo, so maybe Tim, you could evaluate on that a little, or like elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now it has no color, and I will give it color.
There we go.
It will look like a bait fish imitation of some sort. It might not be exactly colored. It might not be realistic. Some of that stuff out there that the different companies work with makes different stuff, but it will be a custom painted lure, and it won't look like dog shit. Because not to be too full of myself, but I have some talent.
You have some artistic talent. Yes. Yeah, very true. And before we wrap up the ad here for patreon.com/realaftv, we do have a goal too. We're goals right now. We only have one goal set, but there is, if we get up to 10 patrons this year or this month even, which would be great, so share with a friend, we will do a live stream AMA while fishing. We are capable of live streaming fishing. We've done it before. Yes. Check out the YouTube channel. And we'll just do an AMA. We'll schedule it. We'll do all the communications through Patreon, and we'll go live with a AMA of undetermined length at this point while fishing. So if you can get us up to 10 patrons, if you know friends and family and stuff like that got a few bucks to kick our way, let them know. realaf.tv. Scroll down a little bit. There's the Patreon link. It'll shoot you right over. Sign up for a little bit.
Yeah.
Welcome back, friends and family, to the show about fishing random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I kind of botched that one because we were laughing so hard coming out of the break. This is the Real AF TV podcast. In case you're just grabbing this on the Friday when it drops on our off week, we are about to get into the random take of 40 before 40, 40 after 40. Okay. I just got to tell the story because I didn't know how to explain it before.
Okay.
We're listening to the radio and they're talking about 40 something 40. And I'm just like, okay, I'll Google 40 before 40 because I think that's what they had. Bam, dude. This is like the thing. Like, fucking blew up like it was just a trend.
Yep.
So it's a trend. So it's trending. 30 before 30, 45. I tried other numbers too because I was like, okay, I got to check this out. So the 40 before 40, it's the new way to say bucket list. That's what it is.
It's like a bucket list you got to do before you're older than 40.
Yeah.
And people that are 39 just hit that.
Yep.
You're in that final year and your New Year's resolution. 40 before you're 40 with the New Year's resolution, you got to do 40 what?
Right.
Burpees.
40 burpees. That's
40,
it. That's
40
all it is. That's all we're just going to talk about. Dude, could you do 40 burpees in a row before you turn 40 years old? Go. Do you think you can?
In a row? I haven't done it for a while. I doubt I could do 40 in a row.
I was totally kidding.
I could do 40 in a couple sets, but I mean, like, if I'm being real, probably not 40 in a row.
Fuck no,
I mean, like, if that's the goal, if the goal is to eventually be able to do 40,
right?
Give me a little bit of time.
Right.
Yeah, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
But I don't want to. That sounds lame.
Speaking of lame, okay, so this is totally like your bucket list, like 40 before 40. And the funny thing is everyone I read, it's just a blog. It's just some blog. So it's just like a blogger trend right now. And everybody who's writing this is our age. Like you can't fucking write this 2 years, a year, 16 weeks before you turn 40 years old. Like,
right.
You can't
it's so stupid
fucking write it.
Here's the things you have to do. Yeah.
Dickheads.
Here's the things you have to do before you're 40. That's what it is.
So, yes, essentially, the intent of it is that you do these 40 things before you're 40. But I can tell you, every blog that I read, it's everybody in their late 30s fucking making this 40 before 40 list. And I'm just like, you guys are ridiculous. Like, you have a few years to pull off these 40 things. And on that note, I will kick you off with some of the lame shit. Like, one of the reoccurring ones I saw was get healthy.
Like, what's your ideal healthy? Like, healthier than what I'm doing now, or like completely healthy? Like, I'm just supposed to go on some sort of a health kick? Go suck a fart. Put some sort of a nice list together, not some vague bullshit that you just have to like. That just feels like you had a space to fill, and you're just like, get healthy, I suppose would be like a good one. That's a good thing.
Yeah, like
that's just every New Year's resolution. You're just putting in a list and saying, I got to complete it before I'm 40. And like, who are you to say you got to get it done before 40 when you're 38? There's like a 42-year-old out there that's just like, this is complete bullshit. I can still do all of this stuff. Why did I have to do it before I was 40? Now I got nothing now I'm in my 40s and I got not shit to do. Because I did the 40 things before I was 40.
That's exactly what I was saying. It's like, that was why I put it down as a lame ass fucking thing. Is it's too vague. It's so fucking vague. Like, what does that even mean? Like, get healthy.
Yeah.
So fucking stupid. Other stupid things that I saw, they were like New Year's Eve, like you put it. They were like New Year's resolutions, dude.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Face a fear. Motherfucker, you're almost 40 years old. You ain't faced a fear. You're full of fucking shit.
Yeah, I faced a bunch of them. Check them off the list. What are you trying to tell me? I got to go face a new fear?
I faced a fear this week. Thanks. The dipshit.
If there's a fear that I haven't faced yet, it's for good reason. Tell me I got to go face a fear. No thanks. I am a father. I got to go face a fear, like put my life on the line just because you put out a stupid ass list. I like this. You were like, we're going to get deep. And instead, I'm just like, I'm here to roast this stupid ass list.
I did. You're right. I did say that earlier in the podcast. I was like, get strap in. We going to get deep. You better get in a different mind. Well, we may.
We might.
We could, because I got some stuff.
Looking good so far.
The number one on the list is, but I wanted to kick it off with a little humor because we came onto the break laughing so fucking hard that I wanted to kick it off.
Yeah.
And this is another one where I'm like, what the fuck, dude? This is the weirdest thing. This is some fucking like 20 before 20 shit. See your favorite band live.
Done,
dude. So
it's already happened. Stupid.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
40. Who the fuck waits until 40 to see their favorite band live? Like, who's your favorite band and when did you see them live?
Well,
But it's adjusted too. That's the other thing that I don't understand, right?
I don't have like one specific like that stands out. I have a bunch of bands that I like, and I've been to a bunch of them.
Yeah. And doesn't your favorite band shift? Like if I would ask you that at 22, and I'm asking you that now, like there's different answers there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and it's probably different when you're older too.
Right.
It's different for everybody. Right. I suppose it's a good one to hit now if you're 40, because the bands that you liked when you were a kid, there's a good chance that they're almost done touring. So quick, knock that shit out in the next couple of years, because you might never see them again.
Right.
The Rolling Stones, it's a miracle they're still touring. So if that's your favorite band, get out there while you can, because they're not all going to make it that much longer.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, you can just tell this is like a generic answer again, like a fill-in answer, right? Like see your favorite fucking band live. Give me a break. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, I don't have a favorite band. I'm not 100% on that. Like, I have a few favorite rappers and shit. It's like, would I call Silk Sonic a band? Fuck no, I wouldn't call them a band. But right now, they're definitely one of my favorite bands, and I want to see them live. But they've only been around for 3 fucking years. Like,
right. And do they even tour together? Right. It's like that's 2 different artists that can go on their own tours.
Major tours.
I don't think they will probably tour as a group. It's like, here's an album we put out. Do you like the music? Yes, I do. Can I see you live? Probably not. That's probably not a thing.
Right. Because we're off making our own records and touring and making independent money. It's way easier to make money as 2 different people than it is as a group.
Right. And it's like, I guess it's more of an opportunity thing. I mean, I don't know who you people are. Like, if you think we just have unlimited funds.
Right.
It's like, what band is coming when I have an opportunity to go see somebody? Oh, them? Yes, I would like to see them.
Right.
I've seen quite a few bands. I've seen quite a few artists. I've seen almost like all my favorite ones. There's not a whole lot that I have to check off the list.
Here. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
we've been to a lot of them together. Right. We've fucking seen Eminem, 50 Cent, and like everybody that those guys came with. Like,
Luda was at one of those shows.
Luda was at the Anger Management tour. Yep. Yeah, there was all those different guys. Yeah. Exhibit was there.
Yeah.
You know, it's all these different dudes that came with, and it's just like 50 Cent had a whole bunch of dudes that I didn't even really plan on going to see, but then they just all come, and then you're just like, oh shit, now I saw all those guys too.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were coming. And it was like, I wasn't like even super into trying to see 50, but he came.
Right.
We even got to like see the Executioners.
Oh, that's right.
You know, there's so many rock bands.
So many.
Yeah. The Slipknot multiple times, like, you know, hard metal, regular rock. I've been to random ass concerts because my wife has won stuff.
Yeah.
Went to Rod Stewart. Right. That was cool. You know, like, it's just like, that's such a vague, stupid thing to say. Go see your favorite band. If they're your favorite band and you really like them that much, good chance you already saw.
I know.
Them.
Like, are you kidding me? You're close to, like, you're in your, let's just say you make this 40 before 40 list when you turn 30 and you haven't seen your fucking favorite band yet, then you're slacking. That's why I put it down. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Or you just like don't like the live music. You don't like that scene. You don't want to be part of it. I don't know if anybody out there like hasn't been to a live concert like that, but I could totally see how it's not somebody's thing.
Oh yeah.
Those speakers are so goddamn loud. You can't hear yourself talk after the show.
Yeah.
Especially when you got the floor tickets. Yep. I remember us just being like on like slightly stage left. So your head's slightly turned the whole time. And then you're just like, after the show, I've got nothing in my left ear. This one does nothing. Here, a little, kind of. What? Yeah. No, nothing. This one, Yeah. Sick show. Fuck yeah.
But that's just like, I'm just like, you can't see your favorite band live on your 40, we'll call it 40 before 40 list. Like, come on.
Dude, the funny thing to me is that this is like if it was like one person that decided to come up with the list, But this is just more proof. I think we've hit on it on other episodes now, but it's like these bloggers, it's just cookie cutter bullshit. One person comes up with something.
Yeah, and then they copy and fucking
everybody copies it,
dude, and then change a few things. It's so stupid.
Yeah, they'll cut out 2 of them because how we're shitting on everything, they'll just have a couple of them where they're like, well, that's quite not really what I was thinking.
I'll rewrite it.
But like, I'm like, this is like the mechanics blog, and I like that. So it's like, turn a wrench on your favorite car. Get underneath the hood of one of your, most iconic cars. Right. Like everybody's got the right, like, oh yeah, I can just go find a Ferrari and they'll let me under the hood.
And they're going to let me under the hood to just like, tinker.
Yeah. Go see one of your favorite bands live. Does everybody have those kind of funds? Do you know what it costs to go to some of these concerts?
Right. Yeah.
And now you're telling me I got to check it off my list, and then they're just throwing it out there so you can feel like shit if you don't accomplish it. I didn't finish my 40 before 40. Why? Well, because fucking U2 tickets were $250 for nosebleeds.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is totally also acceptable. Like why I'm saying is like you should do that shit before you're 30. Like, I'm sorry if you're in the like area where you don't have $110 to spend in your 20s on a ticket to a show.
Yeah.
But that's when you should spend $110 on a fucking ticket when you're 23 years old.
Exactly. When you have nothing else to really pay for. Right. Like, I mean, obviously everybody has their
different things. And yes, people have kids and they're fucking, when they're 18, 16 and
you're working at Burger King, you get a, $500 check and you're like, ooh, shit.
Right.
This is that $500 that I'm just spending on whatever the fuck I want. And that's going towards, I got like a little bit of gas for the car, and I got this, and it's like the leftover money. I'm going to see this concert. Right. That's totally what we did all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So many of them got to see him. That's a pretty big one.
Yeah, that's right.
A band from Finland. That's
right.
That's not an everyday occurrence.
No, for sure. Yeah, we were definitely in a moment there where they were big enough to come over here.
Yeah, and guess what? I'm not printing out this list and checking it off like I accomplished anything. I'm still saying, fuck you, stupid ass list.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I'm right there with you. That's why I wrote it down, because I was just like, dude, I'm not checking any of these off the list. Like, I would have never even put it on there. Now, with that said, I don't know how I could write one of these up, but I definitely could. Like, I know that I could come up with 40 things. Now, give me 2 weeks. Give me 3 weeks, to slowly add to it and shit.
Right.
But like another one.
Well, I could probably do like a 40 before 40. Like, I mean, I don't want to give you this time frame. I think that's stupid.
What I'm saying too.
But I could give you a list of goals to go out and like fishing, like you could. I think everybody could do that.
Right.
Where it's just like, here's 40, like go and catch a bass on this bait during this time of year. Do it on this bait on this time of year. Like, just give yourself these goals of like where you're not confident with this bait. Right. And then just go during the peak time and make it happen. Like, I think that would be kind of a cool list to have.
Yeah, but this broad strokes stuff is so broad. It's so broad that it makes you laugh. Now, some of these things we'll jump into some of these things where it's like, hey, I wrote this down. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a good thing.
Yeah,
because I'm with you. It's just like these copy and paste lists are ridiculous and at many points, and then they make other good points, because as you grow older you start to ask these questions or like think of these questions. One, because you already said is like, I'm a dad. Like you made a reference to that, and I kept it on the list. Skydiving, because we've been adrenaline junkies in our lives.
Me not as much as you.
Right
Yeah, I get my adrenaline in other ways, I guess.
For sure.
Not with...
So now, this close to 40, what do you think? What do you think of skydiving in general? Nope.
No.
I've been an on the fence guy. Kids, this close to 40, I'm just like, nah. I'm cool.
No, I just don't. Maybe when I'm older, but like something in me, like I don't like it to the point where I feel like I'd be one of those guys that would just black out. And I'm very
I'm
like
sorry to
I don't
laugh.
know for
I don't
sure.
mean to
Like,
laugh at that.
no,
It's just
I
like,
get
oh
it, dude.
fuck, dude, I didn't
I
see
don't
that
like
coming.
it. I don't like. Yeah, I don't like the idea. I think it feels like the thought of it feels like so overwhelming. Like to just the thought of free falling from that high up, because I'm not a huge fan of heights.
Yeah, me neither.
So the thought of free falling, which free falling would be dope, but the thought of free falling for a while, just waiting for the moment of when it's time to pull, and like that's the money. Like as soon as you're gliding, I think I'd feel like $1 million and just be like, oh, as soon as it's like I'm in control. But the whole not having control thing, I don't like being in control. I was just talking to my wife about this. Like even when I play Pokemon. So if you're not familiar with the Pokemon games, when you are like walking through certain spots, they're like trainers and the game is set up. So when you walk past the trainer's eye line, they see you and then they come over and initiate a thing. I purposely go to them from the side and I hit the A button to initiate it first. I say, you're not coming over to me. I'm coming to you, bitch. I'm picking the fight. We're doing this. Like
you will walk around them in different ways, but even when you know you want to fight them, it's on your terms.
Yeah. It's on my terms. I'm starting this.
But the game is not designed that way necessarily.
Right.
You're finding a little tweak,
but I'm always initiating. So it's like, I don't know if I'm like a control freak like that. I don't like to be out of control.
Yeah.
And
which skydiving is, I think, completely out of control. And like in a way, like there's obviously some control to it. Otherwise it would be a fucking, 50-50 chance. Am I going to hit the ground or, but.
And it's kind of ironic that you said this too, because one of the things that I was just about to say too, that I was thinking about is like, I'm also kind of I don't like authorities being told what to do. Like I don't like if we have a relationship, if I know who you are and you're asking me to do something, or you know, even a simple like, hey, can you do that?
Right.
Like totally cool.
Yeah.
But that's like this list in general. Here's the 40 things you have to do before you're 40. Fuck you. Don't tell me what to do. And then it says something like that.
Right.
Go skydiving.
Right.
Go suck a fart. You're going to tell me that I got to go jump out of a plane before I'm 40? Because you
because you put this down on a blog and it happened to be a file on 5 other fucking 40 before 40 blogs. Go suck a fart directly out of an elephant's butt, dude.
Yeah, just do it right up to the asshole and just suck that fart right out of him. Don't tell me what to do. And especially when you're like, go potentially risk your life as a father before you're 40 because my blog says so. No, I will not.
That is not happening.
No. The fuck you think you are?
All right. So here's one where we'll get into where I think we're going to get into something now. I don't know about you, but for me, for sure. So it says like this, it's just a simple 2-word thing. Forgive yourself. And for me, that has a lot of where I am now in life because I was such a fucking alcoholic in my 20s. There's like things that aren't that big of a deal, but I still hang on them. And there are things that are big deals, like, that I should probably apologize for, but whatever. I'll get to that later. But the forgiving yourself part of it is the things that like you did, they are who you are, they are what they were. And like, I just need to fucking let them go because it wasn't that big of a deal, or it wasn't a big deal at all, or it never even was a deal in the first place. So like, that's one that actually sunk in for me on these. It was on multiple. I'm going to tell you right now, every single one of these that I put down on the list, it was on more than one page.
Sure.
And so for that one, I was just like, yeah, God, you just kind of need to let it go. But also, wasn't always just because of how bad the alcohol was in my 20s.
Okay.
It's the first time that I really kind of ever had to like disappoint or like purposely avoid or say no to a situation is when you get to that age, because up to, when you're in high school and whatever, you kind of figure out it's awkward and weird and like you kind of don't necessarily realize it.
Yeah.
And then there's times where it's just like you're already doing a thing and then another adult asks you to do another thing and you're like, yeah, but I already committed to going and getting wasted with my buddies over here. Even though what you asked me is important, like also building bonds with my friends is important. And I told them 2 weeks ago. I still have those moments in my head where I'll just be showering and I'll just be like, running through mental games and all of a sudden, bap, that shit pops up on me.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, you gotta let that go. That was fucking 15 years ago. It's not a thing that you need to feel guilty about because it wasn't even like, just because that person's thing technically was more important because you were just going to go to a hotel downtown and drink. You didn't.
Yeah.
That person didn't fucking lose their life. That person isn't like in a lower place in their career. Like you didn't have an impact on that person's life. They probably don't even fucking remember it. But I remember that. I just remember making that choice.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I chose alcohol over the more important situation. But really it was, I chose the occasion of being with my friends that I told them 2 weeks ago, and this person sprung it on me 3 days ago.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that I'm just like, man, I gotta let that go.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's like, I get what you're talking about with letting it go, but I don't know if it comes down to like forgiving yourself,
Yeah.
There's a lot of stupid shit that I said and did, and I feel bad about it, and I don't like reliving it all the time, and I totally get it, but it's like, I don't know if I'm really harboring it as like something that I need to let go. I think it's just something that's always like shit has happened and it's just there and it's memories. And it's not anything that I have to like forgive myself over.
Yeah.
It feels like, I don't know, it feels weird, but it feels like it's almost like a time traveling, like weird. Like, am I supposed to go back in the past and just being like, yeah, what you did there, that was it's okay, I forgive you. It's like, just like,
no,
to
that
me,
changes
it's
my
like,
view on
that's
it
not
when
gonna,
you say it like that.
yeah, to me, like when I think about it like that, it's like, that's not going to change anything. Like what happened, and now it's time to look forward, even though these random ass things pop up from the past. I have a lot of weird shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And not even stuff that's like pressing like yours. Like yours sounds a little bit deeper than mine.
Yeah.
In some circumstances. Some of them are like just stupid as shit. Like there's one where, and this isn't like even a forgiven thing. It's like there's one where like in Pee Wee football, there was like I don't know if I had like a learning disability or what. There's a lot of stuff where I think back and I was like, if somebody would have told me different, I would have understood what they were talking about.
Okay.
But because of how they said it, I didn't do what was supposed to be done. And now, older, I understood. Like,
sure.
I remember there was like a kickoff return. And I was like on the special teams deal. And they were like, stay in your lane. So I was supposed to run forward and create like a lane.
Okay.
And I didn't really. We all just kind of stood there. And the whole thing, they do the kickoff. And I don't think they explained it well to any of us because we all stood there. The ball landed like right behind me, and there's a dude like sprinting right at me. And I'm like, whatever, dude, I'm about to block this dude. You know, like he doesn't know what's coming. And he runs right at me. And as I'm about to block him, he like slides between my legs. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And he grabs the ball. And then they got the ball. The ball was right behind me the whole time.
Right.
And all I would have had to do is turn around
and grab the ball.
And I'm pretty athletic dude, and I was never given the opportunity to like run the ball.
Right.
And I think back on that sometimes, that if I would have picked that up, I would have just
been in the NFL.
It was that one moment that I just would have like schooled the whole thing, took it to the house, and they just would have been like, I guess he's a running back, because that was fucking dope. And then like that was like the only opportunity I would have had to ever like show myself.
Sure.
It never happened. And then, you know, so it's obviously like I don't actually think I'd be in the NFL or whatever, but it's like little moments like that where it pops into my head. And for some reason I can't shake them. They never go away.
Yeah, no, we're talking about the same thing.
Like,
you're definitely helping me look at it with a different lens, for sure.
Yeah, but it's never like I have to go back and say like, it's okay what you did there. And it was like, yeah, I mean, it's not, nobody looks at it. It's like you were talking about it. Like nobody else remembers that shit. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It was PB football. Everybody was like little,
right?
But it's just these moments of like something could have changed, but I can't fully let it go,
right?
Because it's just a memory that's there.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's harboring all this stuff where I'm constantly just being like, you know, Uncle Rico. if only I would have picked up that ball.
Bet you I could throw that football over the mountains over there.
Over the mountains. Yeah. But it's like stuff like that. And then obviously there's like other deeper shit, like mistakes that I made and stuff. But like,
but the forgiving part, like right? Like I think the way you're making me look at it so different. Of the like,
there was some moments of like where I was like a bully to like certain kids a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I had those tendencies too. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And there was some moment, and then like you think back on it, and you're just like, I was just kind of being a dick, and I don't like. I realize now that I was being a dick,
right?
But it's not something where I have to just be like, what you did was okay, and I just like I've never even had to think about it like that. I've just always been like fessed up immediately. Like it's just that moment of realization where you're just like, yeah, what I did was kind of like fucked up, but you didn't really think about it when you were a kid.
There in the moment.
You didn't think about it from the other perspective. Yeah. So like for me, it's almost like I'd like to just be like, almost to those people, say like,
yeah,
if what I did ever affected you,
right,
in any way,
yeah,
you know, and like because you see what some of these kids are talking about and going through,
right,
and you're just like, if you were that kid on that side, right, and like the stupid shit that I thought was funny,
right,
was, you know, putting you in this hell because what I thought was insignificant was actually like a giant deal to you, yeah, then like I feel bad about that,
right?
But it's like I'm still not sitting here saying I have to forgive myself.
Yeah,
I think in certain circumstances, it would be helpful to say sorry to these people. I have thought about some of them, especially like later on in life.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I was saying too, right? Is like, yeah, it's like I was like, maybe the people, maybe it is more not forgiving myself for the situation, but like it keeps coming up, and I'm thinking maybe I need to say sorry to the people. Maybe that's why it's coming up, and like you can't, like you said already, you can't go back and like the more you're saying it is like, do I want to go back and pat my past self on the back and say like, it's okay, it's gonna be okay, what happened was okay? I don't know now. Is it more or less I think about the situations and the people that were around me? Yeah,
man, I don't know. It's like, I mean, there's just like one of them I feel the worst about is that, like, when we were kids,
No names.
like, no, I'm not gonna say
I didn't
names,
figure you
but
would, but I
there
just
was,
wanted to
like,
feel like
autism, like, wasn't a
what
thing,
right. I know.
you know?
Yep.
There was, like, the kids that were, like, in the special class,
Mhm.
and then, like, everybody else, and there was, like, autistic kids in the regular
Yep.
classes, and it was, like, I don't remember being, like, a super dick, but I remember, like, some of the like, one kid in particular struggling, and, like and it would be funny because of the things that they said,
Mhm.
because 'cause you're like, you're so far
Right.
off of
Right.
like, that's not
Like, you're not even in the
and
ballpark, man.
not even in the
Right,
ballpark, and
right,
then they, like, try to explain it to him, and you're just like, "How are you not fucking getting
right.
this? It's not that
Yeah.
hard."
And
And
we
then,
had
like,
no
thinking
idea.
back on it and then thinking back on it now, it's like, "Oh, you're very clearly on the
Yep.
spectrum."
Yep.
But back then we didn't
Yeah.
know, and it wasn't
So trying to be like
it wasn't like a
quick-witted dipshit
yeah,
kids, you know, you just
yeah,
fucking fire
yeah,
something off.
yeah, and you're making your friends
Right.
laugh at their expense,
Yep.
and then you think back on it, and you're like, "Oh,
Right.
dude, I was totally just, like, ripping that
Autistic
autistic
kid.
kid
Right.
a new asshole." Like, and it was just certain parts where, like, they would say something, and it wasn't like you'd, like, seeked out trying to hurt their
No,
feelings,
it was
but
being
they'd say something
opportunistic
so
and, like,
yeah,
trying to be the funny kid or, like,
yeah,
you just saw an opportunity and you took it because you're
yeah,
trying
it's
to
I mean,
be in some sort of social ladder in some way and thinking that this would help you.
yeah. I mean, it's just like everybody can relate to how a roast is funny.
Yeah.
I mean, some people might just be like, "No, it's not.
Right.
Whatever." Yeah,
Fuck those boring people.
we're not yeah, we're we clearly are not on the same page. But, like, when somebody says something dumb and then you get the chance to roast them because what they say is so far off, that was funny, but now you're like, "Oh, what you said was so far
Right.
off because you are a little off. You are not, on the
Yeah,
spectrum."
you are
Not trying
on
to
the spectrum,
like,
and that's why
however
it's so
yeah,
off,
you are
right?
there. It is off because you think off. It's different.
Right.
And clearly, you weren't in the right class. You weren't getting taught properly.
Right.
And I think sometimes, like, I'm slightly not necessarily on the spectrum, but I definitely had my issues, and
Mhm.
everybody has their own, like, learning disabilities, and sometimes there's, like, ways that people explain stuff, and I'm like, "I don't the way you said it." And then, like, I've almost been, like, a dick that way too, like, where, like, I know I'm intelligent, I know I can
Right,
grasp
right,
stuff,
right.
but what you just said meant nothing to me. Do better. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
that so, like, I'm roasting everybody on every occasion. Like, I just wanna just be like, I'm roasting the educators now. I'm just like, "You went to how many years of school? This isn't making any sense to me. What the fuck? Step up your game." You know?
Yeah,
It's like, I'm putting it on their head. It's
for sure.
clearly, it's probably my fault for not being able to understand what they're teaching me, but at the same time, I'm just like, You're dumb. What you said is dumb. That's stupid." I know
Yeah.
that feels better to me to roast an educator than it does
Right, right, yeah.
an autistic kid for sure, but
Of course, of course,
yeah.
of course.
But yeah, it's like it's still going back to that, I never really I don't know.
I like the way you put it
Maybe
about,
that'd be
like, going
something that
back and looking at yourself and, like, feeling the need because forgive yourself. To
yeah. I
me
mean,
is
for
like
me,
looking
that's
back
almost
and
like a
saying to that person, like, you just need to forgive yourself for that moment. And it's not, you're right
yeah.
now. I'm not sure that I actually need, I don't know that I feel the need to forgive myself for the moment so
Yeah.
much as I do want to just
Well,
like maybe apologize
I
to some
th
people and just like keep looking back at that moment and just go like, that's who you are. That's why, like, it's made, that's part of who you are. And that's
yeah.
part of what made you who you are today.
Right.
And like, you're not that person anymore. So forgive yourself? No,
Yes.
you're not that person anymore. Don't
That's
forgive that
exactly it.
person. You just aren't that
Yeah.
person anymore.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I don't need to forgive that person because that person doesn't exist.
Yeah.
That
There
person
you go,
was
dude.
in the
Yeah.
past. He just like, I'm who I am
Yeah.
now. That person existed then, and he's just not here anymore.
Right.
So I don't have to forgive myself because that was that
Right.
dude, and I'm
Yeah.
me. You know, like it's that cliche thing of like just what you said. Like I'm not that person anymore. So it's almost like just
let that just be part of who you are today, and it's like
separating.
stop pretending like that person needs an apology or needs to be apologized for or apologized to,
Right.
or forgiven.
Yep.
Right. I mean, that's what it really. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Told you we were gonna get deep, didn't I?
We did. Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing. Like you weren't lying. We got deep there. We're all philosophical
and shit.
Yeah.
Hard pivot.
Maybe talk to a therapist about it. See what they say.
Right.
Just that'd be funny if the therapist was trying to say some stuff and then we dropped that knowledge on them and like we're changing their mind. You need to forgive yourself. Well, I'm not him anymore. I'm me. I'm a different person. and then they just go, "Oh shit, bro." That's deep. That'll be $500.
Speaking of $500, Tim.
Yeah.
Instrument. Try an instrument. Again, such a cookie cutter fucking one. But I couldn't go past it because of the fact I don't know how much we have actually talked about this. Try an instrument. I've tried hundreds of them, but I've never been in band. Like, and I say hundreds. That's because
they literally mean like a musical instrument, or are they talking about like master something that's not
like a compass, like a math compass?
or are we talking like fishing rod and reel? Like,
dude,
that's my instrument.
Try an instrument. You know? It is that vague, and it is that vague every time. Now, they always put little paragraphs underneath this shit, but I wasn't interested in the paragraphs. I read a couple of them. Okay, I read a few, but that's not the point. It was try an instrument. And now, having said that, I interpreted this as musical instrument, and to hear, there it is. That's your creative brain. It's so good.
Yeah.
To just go like instrument. Yeah. I mean, what do you mean? Like, I'm fucking really good with a hacksaw. Like, that's an instrument. Right. Like, oh shit, dude. I didn't even see that coming. I went straight to musical, and I have to believe it's one of two things. I read it most of the time on these blogs, and two, I just was like, yeah, checked off. I never was in band. I never played anything more than the recorder in school, but like there was a trumpet around me, and I tried that thing out, you know, like someone like my aunt had a trumpet left over from her school years.
Yeah.
It was just laying around. We would just play with it.
Yeah.
I've messed with turntables. I've made beats in multiple electronic softwares, and it's all from, you know, beat as in like bass line, or you can play the instrument directly, or has, you know, like I fucked around with so much stuff that I would call instruments as far as on a musical scale. I think I put it in that.
Yeah.
Now you right away went to like instrument. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I started thinking about other instruments too, because it was like, just, you know, I'm just kind of making that point of how vague it is. I played the trombone for a little while, mainly because I wanted to play the drums, and like 2 people signed up for the drums before I got to the trombone, or before I went up there, and they were like, "We only have 2 drum kits. Do you want to play the trombone?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "Well, that's what we have." And I'm like, "Okay, I guess I'll try." And I played it a little bit, and I was like, this isn't for me. I'm not, you know. But now, like, I do see some stuff out there that's like pretty sick. Like the trombone can be used pretty cool in certain circumstances. Like horns do make pretty dope beats, but you have to have percussion with it. And that's why I wanted to be the drummer.
Right. Because you feel like that's the baseline for it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But hey, you know what else I was gonna play? What? You ever watch Married with Children?
Yeah, love it.
Here's what I'm gonna pick up. Ready?
Okay.
You hear that screaming?
Yeah. What?
That's Al Bundy playing a ham sandwich. That's the instrument I'm picking up, buddy. I'm gonna
I play the ham sandwich, bitch.
Literally, there's a whole band, and he's got a ham sandwich, and it's in his mouth, and he's just screaming it into it like a harmonica. Yeah, I'm gonna play that ham
How
sandwich.
the hell do you remember that? That's so funny, dude. Your brain works in the fucking best way, dude.
Oh yeah, it pulls up references all the time. Very weird stuff. I don't know when's the last time I thought about that, but you said instrument, and I'm like, can it be a fishing rod? Oh, can it be a ham sandwich?
Ham sandwich. Oh my god, dude, that's so funny. Okay, I don't want to drag on this topic too long, so I'm gonna skip to one. Take up martial arts. Again, one that was like on there multiple times. It's like, get healthy, work out more, take up martial arts. I'm like, you dumb motherfucker. That's 3 of the same things.
Which one? Am I just you like MMA? Would you like me to go MMA?
Right. But
would you like me to just choose? Are you talking like? Would you like me to actually like get educated in the combat sports, or like what was that? What's that one?
Muay Thai?
That they were outlawing it in like certain like Chinese. I want to say it was in China in certain spots, and it's not
Muay Thai.
It's not a combat sport. It's not a combat martial arts, but it is a martial art, and it's just like movements. It's just movements.
Oh, I thought that was Tai Chi. It was that.
Yeah, Tai Chi. I think.
Yeah. Tai Chi is the one of moving. It's not karate, because karate is complete defense technically. But I think Tai Chi is the one. And dude, this is the one I've always thought you would be really good at, because it's you. And please, if you are into martial arts, please put it in the comments and let us know. But I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm fairly accurate on this, and it's Tai Chi, and because of what you just said, and I think it's Tai Chi, and I know we're talking about the same thing, so maybe what the practices we got wrong, but it's when you are literally reading your opponent's movements and using them against them. So like you see when their punch is coming in, and so you back up.
Oh, it's like all counters.
It's all it's all counters, but you don't. It's not like you read their punch and then dip away from it to then, they're throwing a left. And so then you get to throw a left because it's the same side and now they're exposed. It's like they're throwing a punch. So you dip out of the way and you push their arm down, and their own momentum takes them to the ground. And all you had to do was like guide their arm left. It's all about using their energy against them.
Okay.
And I've always thought like, yeah, Tim could fucking do that. Tim's crazy weird like that.
Yeah. Well, see, I think that might be something else though, because I was even just looking. Some martial arts are for exercise, which is a part of non-combat arts such as Tai Chi. Therefore, being a martial artist is non-combat arts will not prepare anyone for real-world fighting. Because I think Tai Chi is just like kind of moving back and forth, just kind of like moving your hands. So maybe it's something that's kind of like that. But maybe Tai Chi,
I think I'm
is
still
like
right,
just kind of,
isn't it?
You might be. It's just like flowing and moving with somebody. So like Tai Chi is setting you up to be able to like use somebody's energy, but it doesn't actually like teach you how to strike.
Yeah. Yes. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Is like you use their own momentum against them, and that's it. You never strike back. You only use their own momentum against them. So like Like I'm saying is like they come at you and you see the punch and you move out of the way and then you slightly deflect them, like you push on their elbow.
Yeah.
And you're only moving them a little bit left because you know that a little to the left is enough to throw them off their balance and then they fall. Like, sure. I mean, maybe that's not what Tai Chi is, but like that's the combat style that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I guess the whole reason why I even wanted to bring this up is because it seems that going into your 40s, people, to me, the more that I listen to people as they get older, as they get closer to 40 or are in their 40s and stuff like that, they're always just like, I don't know, I got to get into some kind of martial art. I got to be like, I don't know what it is. It's like something flips in their brain and it's like some sort of like midlife crisis or something. I'm not sure, but like I hear a lot of it and I'm just like, this is too weird for me to look past. It seems like these people, these men specifically, are getting towards 40 and they feel the need to get into some sort of martial arts. And right now I'm kind of like, yeah, it's crossed my mind. But
it's like, I mean, how much do you want me to learn this martial arts?
Well, I don't know, but that's kind of why I brought it up. Is like, would this be on your list? Is this something you've thought about? Is it like, does it cross your mind?
I've always thought I like martial arts, but I also like think realistically about my job and stuff. Like I hear people talking about like rolling, you know, like doing it's not judo. What the hell is it? That they're just like where you're doing like submissions and stuff.
Oh,
and trying to choke people
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I can't think of it right now.
No, keep going with your story.
Yeah. But it's like that, like Rogan does it and stuff, and like a lot of those dudes are into it, and it's like you also hear them about like, oh, I fucked up my knee or I tweaked this, because there's real submissions.
Yeah.
And they're doing this stuff, and it's like, well, and also first off, I don't really have the time to do that plus everything else. Like I know that some of these guys do it, but they also, you know, they're successful and they have the extra time to do stuff. I work a lot of hours and there's just not really the extra time, and then just the time to be away from the family.
Right.
To just be like, well, I'm gonna go roll around on some mats with some dudes. You guys get it. You know, like, but it's, you know, like not trying to belittle it, but it's just like it doesn't fit into my situation. Plus my job is pretty physical. Like I can't really afford to fuck up my knee because I'm just trying to learn a martial art.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
And it's just, I don't know, some of that stuff. But that's why I'm like, how much are you talking about learning it? Like just a little bit of learning it? Because if you're talking about mastering it, most people say that you like got to put in like 10 years before you're good at anything.
Right.
But if you're talking about just learning it a little bit, check it off my list, because I've watched like 3 YouTube videos on Kung Fu. That's no joke. I've learned how to, like, I've watched how, like, the beginning steps of Kung Fu on YouTube. I'm just like in the, you know, doing that. Just, I watched a couple different styles too.
Sure. Yeah. Because like there's different
the
styles.
Crane style. And dude, for sure. Yeah. It's interesting to me that there's like, it's all falls under this big umbrella of Kung Fu, but there's like 20 different styles and it's all fighting and moving, but you're fighting and moving, kind of mimicking an animal in your movements.
Is that where like tiger style comes from and shit like that?
That's there's like crane style and snake. Yeah, dude. All that stuff. That's all Kung Fu.
That's so sick.
Yeah, I've always been interested in Kung Fu ever since I was a little kid. And then like the shows come out too.
Wu-Tang, baby.
And they make it Wu-Tang. Yeah. And then like Kung Fu, the show. You ever watch Kung Fu? Yeah. That's a dope show too. And then like you realize it's not real when you get older, and they're just like, yeah. Remember the guy that had the shaved head in the Kung Fu? Yeah. No, he's not like even remotely Asian, and he died from autoerotic asphyxiation. And you're like, oh, that's neat. Cool.
Yeah. Way to go out in style,
40
I guess.
before,
Oh, that's horrible.
40 before 40. went out checking out that last one. Is that on there?
Let me check.
Take some sexual
Yeah.
risks.
Oh, yeah. Go out on
Take
top.
some
It says
sexual
it
risks.
just says go out on
Go
top.
out on top. Go out on top.
What we were talking about was jujitsu, though, and everybody says
jujitsu,
that is like. And so I wonder if it's just like I don't want to say the Joe Rogan effect, because it isn't just that. It's just like, oh damn it! You hear that?
Yeah. Oh damn!
My water softener is going off. That's okay. Let's just try to get through this. Anyways, the reason why they're saying that, like, so it's because jujitsu. Everybody says jujitsu is the one that will get you into a real world fight, get you in and out of a real world fight.
Yeah,
the best. Yeah. And that's what I'm trying to think is like, I don't know, where are these fucking people living? Like, where are these 40-year-olds just like getting this desire that they're just like, I don't know, man. Look at all these kids. They're gonna fuck me up.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I'm sorry that you live in that world.
Right.
But like you said, there's all these like, the way we see it on the internet, we see it as like successful older people who have the free time to go and get good at jujitsu. So like, who the fuck is going to try to kick their ass? Like, they just hire security. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Is it an internet thing? Is it just a penetration of internet, or is this a real thing that happens when you're 40? Because it's crossed my mind too.
I mean, because Rogan's so big, I think he has a very good selling point of it, because he talks about it like, because Rogan is like a world-class kickboxer. Like when he was younger,
his fucking legs are like tree trunks, apparently.
Yeah. He was winning like championships and like just the kickboxing or whatever. And then he moved on from that, and he thought like, oh, you know, I'm talent, you know, I can fight, I know what I'm doing. And then he like did jujitsu, and he was just like, I just got ragged.
Got his ass handed to him.
It was embarrassing. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's like, he said it was like the great equalizer. And I think because he has such a big platform, I think he really understands that. Plus, I think it also is a huge part, and I think he even decided to go for it because of the UFC, the original, like when it started before there was weight classes and stuff.
Okay.
Hoist Gracie was a jiu-jitsu guy, and he went out there against these big bad dudes that came trying to strike him and stuff, and he would just like pull guard. Like he would just let these guys like go on top of him and try to like ground and pound.
Okay.
And they just had no idea what jujitsu was. And he just like grabbed their arms and submit them, or he'd like climb on their backs and choke them out. And it was like, look at this little dude. And these big guys stand no fucking chance, because they just don't.
They don't understand how to defend that. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll land a couple of good shots, but eventually he'll grab onto them and he'll choke them out, or he'll, you know, break their fucking elbows or whatever. Right. And it's just, I think that inspired Rogan, and I think Rogan talking about that on his giant platform is kind of a combination. And then the UFC too, like everybody's just getting way more educated.
Sure.
On what it is. Sure. It's evolved so much. So I think that's a huge part of it.
So making a list, does this make your list? Does like finding martial arts, whatever, does it make your list?
All my list is like contingent on everything.
Yeah.
Like, sure, being able to do that, not before I'm 40. Fuck you. Like, if I want to do something, I'll do it whenever I get a chance. That's my whole thing, is like, how dare you try to put a time limit on it? If it's something that I want to do, I'll get around to it when I get the chance, because there's so many other things that I want to do to stop doing the other things that I'm trying to accomplish and take time out of my day.
Right.
To go accomplish these other goals, just because like skydiving isn't something you can just be like, oh, I'm going to go do it today. Like, you have to learn some stuff. You can't just be like, all right, strap that other dude to my back and let's get it. You know, like you have to put time and effort into all this stuff.
Right.
And to tell people that they have to go do it just because it's a list that you make.
Right.
It's just, I don't know. It's
I know.
No. So
I got you, man.
No, I've also been like doing my own form of martial arts since I was like 5 in the garage with a stick
and a bag of Doritos.
So, yeah, dude, and the easy cheese. Get real white trashy with it. I was thinking about it the other day. You know, you get them Doritos that are like half curled over.
Yeah.
And then you take that easy cheese and you spray it
Fill
in
it
there
up.
like this white
tube.
Yeah. You got that white trash Eau Claire.
It is. That's something 40 before 40. That's one of the fucking goals you need to put on there.
See, that's the kind of stuff is like, you never heard of white trash Eau Claire. You ain't living. Hit that before you're 40. Like real attainable goals, not like, let's not get crazy with it. But I guess if you work, you know, you got some like cushy job where you got money to burn, whatever. Yeah, go get your goals.
Get after it. Get after that idea of stuff. You know.
Yeah, if you're so unoriginal and you can't make goals yourself or just figure out what you want to do with your life, that you have to have some blogger make a list of 40 things you can go check off, then I guess go.
That is what this turned into, is just us hating on the lists pretty much. But I mean, we got into it. We got into it too. So it's not that big of a deal.
I mean, there's a little bit of it, but yeah. What else you got?
That's it, man. That's it for now. Let's wrap this shit up. Let's wrap it up. Right. Let's do the old like and subscribe and stuff like that. I think if you go over to the Spotify app and you subscribe and follow and all that shit, then it will be a place where you could leave a review as well. I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, on the app though. Again, I think you have to be on the app to do that, because I'm on the PC and I don't see a place to review. Give 5 stars and all that shit. So go over there, do that, like and subscribe on YouTube for sure. We if you know what, to keep that short, just go listen to the last podcast, the 2023 goals 2022 wrap up. You'll want to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Things are going to be, I think, getting different there this year. Shit, Tim, back me up. Social media.
Yeah, RealAF.TV on Instagram.
Yep.
RealAF TV everywhere else.
Yeah, right? if you just do a search for RealAF TV, remember real like fish and reel.
2 E's.
2 E's. That's right. You'll find us. The screen names change a little bit because of the way of the, like, some you have to have an underscore, some you have to use a period, you can't use a period, all that stuff. But just look us up. Just look it up. Real AF TV, real like fish and reel. You'll find us for sure. We're out there. We're not on TikTok yet. You know, maybe we'll get there.
It exists, but we just don't have any.
Yeah, we just don't have any content yet. But hey. Again, go back to listen to the next podcast. Yeah, that's it. I think for the likes and subscribes and everything like that. Patreon. I just want to give that a shout out because you know what? We're going to go off the radar, and maybe going off the radar is a thing here, because we got more conversation happening. So try yoga. Tim, I do yoga every once in a while. Have you ever tried yoga? Like, try yoga is a dumb fucking thing anyway, because I tried yoga.